Cuba, it's me! Welcome to episode 87 of The Willu Show, which stands for Wrestling is Life. Life is Wrestling. Now, on today's show, I wanted to talk about the 10 best wrestlers that I think can cut the best promos, the ones that got me excited when they talk. Because I used to hate the talking when I was a kid. And then, I just wanted to see wrestling, and I'm like, why do they gotta talk? Just wrestle. But there is some, over the years, people that have me hanging on their every word. Let's do it. When I was a kid, the first one, the only one that I ever really wanted to hear talk, was Jake the Snake Roberts. I learned a lot of words as a little kid from him, and I took some of the things he said in his promos as real life advice. Like, he just had, every promo he ever did, I'm pretty sure was good. I've never seen a bad one myself. Like when he's like, a wise man doesn't have to talk loud for people to listen. And I was just like, wow, because my dad always yelled. So my number 2 would be Stone Cold. I just love Stone Cold. He was such a rebel when I was like 15 years old, right out at that age where I wanted to rebel and do stuff I wasn't supposed to do. And he was saying stuff I'd never heard anyone say. And he always just, even to this day, like even on his podcast, I just love his voice and his presentation. So I always love listening to Stone Cold talk. Number 3 would have to be The Rock. Like, yeah, he was clever and witty and funny, but it wasn't just that. It wasn't just like his punchlines. It was the way he did it, the way he set up, and the way he said it. And when The Rock came along, there had never been anyone like him in wrestling. So he would be my 3rd one. This is no particular order. I just wrote down 10 guys that I really like to hear talk. Number 4 would be Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman right now is probably the best at cutting promos in the world right now. Like, can anyone do it better than him that's doing it actively? He can really sell a match too. Like, he can really make you want to see a match that I didn't think I'd want to see, and maybe he had me convinced that I did want to see it. So he's very good. Number 5 would be Jim Cornette. He was such a great heel manager, and he would always make me want to see his team get beaten. And then to this day, like some of his epic rants on the internet and his podcasts and stuff, I just love them. And I really loved his Hall of Fame speech. My 6th one would have to be Jericho. Going back when he did that list thing, not the one you're thinking of, the one in WCW, his list of 1,000 moves, and how he was just doing stuff, and I would find out later he just made it up himself, and it was just on the fly, and he wasn't really, and like the stuff he was doing against Goldberg, and when he had that, I can't even remember, that weird security guard, and he was great back then, and then when he first came to WWE, I was really happy, but then I was like, he's not so great. But in these last couple comebacks, he's been, like, his last run is probably his best run of promos he's ever done. So I gotta put Jericho on there. I would say Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens actually, I don't know what it is about him. Everyone said he was a great talker, and I'm like, I'm not buying it. I'm not gonna just jump on the bandwagon. But, like, I mean, the thing with him and Jericho now, and, like, it's hard for him to be a heel, because even though because he's such a good talker, he should be, I could just imagine him as a face, like as the new, like the new Stone Cold, or the new Jericho, or the new CM Punk, kind of like, yeah, he's such a good talker, he would be almost better as a face, which leads me to who I just said, CM Punk. And I didn't want to jump on the bandwagon with this guy either, and then the whole pipe bomb thing, and I just, after so much consistency, I grew to be a fan, because he pretty much always came out there and did his thing, and I like the whole thing with him and Heyman, and then Heyman turned on him, but he's always done a good promo. The 9th guy, I would say, was probably The Miz. Everyone used to say he's a good talker. I used to hate Miz TV, but I believe, like, just with this whole talking smack thing, when he was, like, going at Daniel Bryan and some of those promos, he's gotten so much better, and he said stuff that I wish he would have always said. So now he's completely won me over. So now I would say The Miz, which, the same thing with him. He should almost be a face. I know half the crowd is cheering for him, so it's almost like it's going that way. And then 10 would be Cena. Now, I'm not that huge a Cena fan. I don't dislike the guy, but he's had some promos that I didn't like, but he's had some really fire ones. Like when he gets really fired up and puts that passion in, it's not just this whole hustle, loyalty, respect thing. When he's like really in a good feud with someone, and like there was really good meaning behind it, and then he just comes and he's knocked some promos out of the park for sure. So those are my 10 guys. I thought about putting Wyatt and Ambrose on there, but to me they're just not quite there. They're like some of those other guys who everyone says they're good talkers, but I'm just waiting for those like breakthrough moments for them. Macho Man kinda like he's cut some classic promos and his voice and his delivery, so I almost put Macho Man on there, and I almost put Vince McMahon on there because he cuts a fantastic promo. So but those are my 10. Those are the 10 I pick. I'm sticking with them. Who do you like? Who do you like seeing on his promo, or even like seeing like on a podcast or something? But I just did like wrestling promos. Who do I like seeing talking on a wrestling show? Because most of the time I want to see action in a wrestling show. But those are the 10 I pick. Because like I said, I'd rather see action. But if I'm gonna see someone talk, if it's one of those 10 guys, I'll be okay with it. Episode 87 of the W.I.L.L.I.W Show. Remember, like or you get a leg drop, comment or you get a clothesline, subscribe or you get a suplex. Make sure to comment. Who do you like? Is there someone you like that everyone says that they don't like? Or is there someone that everyone says they like that you don't like? Let's hear it, folks. From the fans, the wrestlers, everybody. I'm your host, Elian Habanero. I love wrestling. Cuba!